You can see we haven't been here a while. There are spider webs in the air. just the silk, not the spider itself. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome. Welcome from out there in the cyberspace internet world, and welcome to our live stream service. The way things go right now, I am the only one technically who should be singing or talking or doing anything. Technically, I probably should have my mask on, but we are just keeping this the quarantine rabbinic zone. And so here we are. So we are now going to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We need to bring light into the darkness that we are experiencing at this time in our world. And we are going to, if you want to see the blessing and you have the book, it's on page 120. We have two candlesticks representing the light of partnership of two loving individuals and the partnership of Am Yisrael and the divine. So we now, once again, are experiencing my microphone going in and out. But we are here together, and we will see how this all works this evening. So if you will, if you want to look at page 120, we do have that blessing. So we're going to make 3 circles, bringing order out of the chaos of the world. So together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu. L'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Turn to someone you love and say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And so now, let us turn in our Siddurim to page 138. 138 for Lecha Dodi. Welcome in the Sabbath bride, verses 1, 5, and 9. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, panei panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, panei panei Shabbat nekabala. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, panei panei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmi'an Yehuel hanichad. Adonai echad. Shemo echad. L'shem l'tiferet v'lidihi la 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 hadoti. Zikrat zikrat kala. Pnei pnei Shabbat nekala. L'cha l'cha hadoti. Likrat likrat kala. Pnei pnei Shabbat nekala. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri. Kiva oretumi ori. Uri ori. Shida beri. Kavod Adonai. Like la 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 hadoti. Zikrat zikrat kala. Pnei pnei Shabbat nekala. L'cha l'cha hadoti. Likrat likrat kala. Pnei pnei Shabbat nekala. Verse 9. Believe shalom terekala, gam besimcha v'tohala, tahamunei am segula, moikala voichala. L'cha l'cha doji, zikrat zikrat kala, pnei pnei Shabbat nekala. L'cha l'cha doji, zikrat zikrat kala. Pnei pnei Shabbat nekala. Pnei pnei Shabbat nekala. Pnei pnei Shabbat nekala. So now we're going to move on in our prayer books to page 144 as we have our Chatzi Kaddish that separates our Kabbalat Shabbat portion of this evening's worship service from the actual call to worship the Baruch Hu. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba ve'almad yivrach hirutei ve'amlik malchutei v'chayehon v'yom echon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala, bagala, uvizmahan kari v'mero, amen. Yehi shemei Rabba mevarach, le'alam u'lomei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, yishtabach, v'yitba'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnasei, v'yithadar, v'yithalev, v'yithalal, shemei dekudashah, Brechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimeru. Amen. And our Baruch Hu, our call to worship, is on page 146. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed Hamevorach Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. And if you are at home standing, please be seated as we now move in our service to our evening prayer, our Ma'ariv Aravim on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro Ma'ariv Aravim bechochma poteach she'arim, v'buna meshane itim u'machalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mitnei or. Umavir yom, umevi laila. Umavdil ben yom uvein laila. Adonai Sevaot Shemo El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed V'Haruch Atah Adonai Hamariv Haravim. So without an entire community, a congregation here in the room, I would normally gauge the speed, the tempo of the chanting to the group. And so I have been getting emails. One Shabbos, it's, oh, it was too fast. The next Shabbos, oh, it was too slow. It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And so go ahead and send me your emails. We'll just figure this out. But hopefully, guess what? In 2 weeks, we're going to try to have a service in our parking lot. So you can come here and we can just experience it all together in person. How great would that be? So Ahavat Olam on page 150 as we sing of the love that Adonai has for us and vice versa. Everlasting love you offered your people Yisrael by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect upon them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Yisrael. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadta Al King Adonai Eloheinu v'Shofeinu u'kameinu nasiach v'chukecha v'nitzmach v'nivrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam v'ed ki en chayenu ve'orech yameinu u'adem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla ve'havatecha al-kasir mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael And now if you'll turn in your Siddurim to page 152, 153, we have our Shema. We are in the book of Deuteronomy, where we hear a repetition of much of what has gone on and been said already by Moses. And so the Shema has another part to it, which is covered in this parsha, the Shabbat. So let us take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And let us first do the Shema, just the first line as a meditation, as we will draw out with breath each word. So take a deep breath in. Shema. And now we'll sing the prayer together. Deep breath in. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. And now, if you'll turn the page to page 154, we have our Ve Ahavta. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. And those words, I led you out of Egypt to become your God. What does it actually mean to become? That means that God showed us many wonders and miracles, and we wandered and we disobeyed and we acted up and we got short-sighted and impatient, and that sometimes we were magnificently awe-inspired and awestruck. But at this time in our lives when it is said that we should, be mindful as we come and go, we are not coming and going, many of us, that much. So how can you be mindful of God? How can you have that relationship become all that it's meant to be while you are safe at home? So keep that in mind as we go through our service and as the weeks go on, as we approach our Yamim Noraim, our High Holy Days, in just about 5, count them, weeks. Ve'ahavta Et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitecha v'veitecha uvelechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukishartam la'od al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'isharecha leman tizkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 157, our reading before the Michamocha. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. So the Michamocha on page 158. So now we are going to move forward into the Vishamru on page 60. Well, it's 162 in your books. Vishamru, the people of Yisrael shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Yisrael. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. So may we be refreshed through this Shabbos period. Veshamru. Shabbat ledorotam berith olam v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat la'asot et haShabbat ledorotam berith olam b'nei uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat Ki sheshet yamim aso Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz ve'shayaru b'nei Yisrael et hashavat la'atzot et hashavat le'dorot ha'berith olam v'vayom hashvi Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et hashavat la'asot et hashavat le'doret ha'berith olam. And now the Amidah can be found on page 164, 166, 168, and then it concludes with the sanctification of the day of Shabbat on 170. So if you have your prayer books and you'd like to rise at home, please do, as the ark is open. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, V'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, Le'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Metim Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'neman Atal HaKayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaMeitim Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh V'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalelucha Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. And if you're standing, please be seated. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We are so blessed to have our community and to be together for this Shabbat. It's very exciting that we can still continue. So I'm so grateful to Dan and to Marianne for their musical stylings. And it's so exciting because in 2 weeks we will welcome back to our musical orchestra directed by our fantastic musical director, Dan Spector. We will have Hilda and Glenn, and we will also have Amy. So we will have ukulele, we'll have harp, we'll have guitar. So it will be very exciting, and hopefully we will be outside so many of you can attend. Unless a miracle happens, please God, and we can actually all be inside. But we are going to try to find a way to bring our community together in these challenging times and to keep that sense of community. We did have our once-a-month Shabbos dinners, so what we're hoping to do is have our service on the 21st at 6 p.m. outside, so we could take advantage of the daylight before the time changes. And then for those of you who have been eating out in restaurants outside, in their parking lots, I know many of you, we will then, those who would like to go to the restaurant, I did speak with the New York Deli to see if they could figure out how to accommodate us with social distancing, which they're already doing, but if we have a large crowd, who knows what could happen. We'll have to try to have even more tables and spread out, which they were thrilled at the idea of welcoming us back on Shabbat. So please let me know. We've got 2 weeks to think about it, and email me and let me know if you are coming so that we can make our preparations. So this Shabbat is Parshat Eikev. In it, we get the second part of the Shema and a recounting of our history from Moses, lest we forget, most particularly emphasizing all that God has done for us. If we are wise, we will take our observations and we will use them to inform our future, to make something better for it. We are going through some very challenging times, unlike anything we have ever seen. Moses reminds us of what it means to be rewarded for our actions or cursed otherwise. And yet history shows that pandemics have happened, economic depression, and moments where civilization has unraveled to the point of deep destruction as well. So in looking back through the lens of the present, we can see where we have erred and what we did right. We hopefully will take these insights and do something different, make a different choice, create a different action for ourselves so that our world will manifest to something better and greater. We are who we are. We are the sum total of all of our experiences, both present and past. If we are aware, if we are informed, if we are resilient and persistent, then our future will hold seeds of promise nurtured by the care tended from our look into the past. History, as a yardstick or a tool, can inform the future. The Rambam, a great rabbi, Jewish philosopher, scholar, stated that all things that happen to the parents are a sign for the children. We are now getting close to the end of our 5 books of the Torah. And the chapters of our history have been written, and the question is, will those lessons inform our future? Will the trials, the tribulations, the decisions, the actions taken, and also the inaction, those actions that we avoided, help us to mold our future into something of value, something that actually merits the miracle and the wonder that Moses and God have foretold as we reach for the promise? Or will we be trapped in a dysfunctional, never-ending cycle where we are doomed to repeat negative behaviors of the past, where the sins of previous generations are thrust upon the current, and yes, even those yet to come? What world will our children, our grandchildren, and their children inhabit? What history are we creating for them right now? 20, 50, 100, 5,000 years from now. This Torah is over 5,000 years old. How will the decisions that we make right now come to bear on the world that we create for all of them? And what is the fallout that they will have to deal with? Will they be able to look back at our present state of chaos and say that it was necessary to move us toward a greater and more productive society, a better and more inclusive humanity? Will advances in medicine, technology, human interaction, and global awareness and consciousness of a oneness of all humanity show cooperation toward common goals and the furtherance of a world where all can truly live equally and with promise? Will faith in God or even the power of the individual survive and flourish, or will it be destroyed, eradicated? Will we receive the reward that is foretold by Moses, or the punishment for the choices that we are making right now? How will this inform the future? The playing field of life, love, spirituality, world politics, and our individual and collective humanity has been leveled. From what will we rebuild? There has been unbelievable chaos in the past. Civilizations have been destroyed, and then others have been built up in their place. There has been reward, and there has also been retribution. Time and again, our history tells us this. The choice is always up to us. We do have free will. What will we choose today, tomorrow, and will what happened yesterday, last month, years or decades, or even generations ago help us to see, to listen, to hear, so that the decisions that we make will in turn create a better tomorrow. And that the future that we are creating today can then be filled with the promise. It may look completely different or have variations on a theme that reflects the negativity of the past. We can destroy, or we can illumine, create chaos, or promote promise. As we look to High Holy Days in these next few weeks, let us look to the past and let it inform our future. Let us prepare to do our teshuvah and to start the process now. Our lives, our world, and ultimate promise for redemption depends upon it. We have had trials. We have had tribulations. And yes, we have also had much joy. In these challenging times, let us focus on the light rather than on the darkness. Let us turn away from negative thoughts that affect our mental state and our deeds, which do nothing but betray us, and reach instead for the positivity and for the light that can be found within the collective reflection and review of the past. Let our individual and our collective deeds, our shared history that we are creating today as a global humanity, help us to build a better tomorrow filled with the promise that was foretold by our ancestors. Let our lives reflect a love for Torah, for God, for each other, so that we can shift the scales of balance and our collective history toward light and redemption. May God be with us on this journey, even in our most difficult and challenging times, and let us feel the presence and know that we are not alone. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. May we listen, may we hear, and heed God's guidance and direct our lives and our world toward the light. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. And so now we are going to ask for prayers of healing for those in our community that are suffering and those around the world who are suffering as well, with our Misha Berach on page 371. Please, at this time, if you have loved ones that you want to send a refuah shlema to, a prayer for those that are broken in body, but also in spirit at this time, say their names aloud or recite them in your heart, in your innermost being, as we reach to ask God for the blessing of good health and spiritual enlightenment. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor Havracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, So with that prayer, we call upon our avotenu and ve'imotenu, our fathers and our mothers, our ancestors of the past, along with God, to grant healing in body and spirit to our loved ones who are in need, and the world as well. And so now if you'll turn to page 586, we have our Aleinu. Please rise as the ark is opened, if you're so inclined, as we turn our pages toward this very important prayer. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teged la l'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishmechot ha'adama, shelo sam cholkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lefnei melech, Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noteh Shamayim V'Yosed Aretz, U'Moshe V'Yakaru B'Shamayim Mima'al, U'Shechinatu Zo V'Govhei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Ein Od, Emet Malkeinu Efesu Lato, Kakatuv B'Torato, V'Yadat Hayom V'Hashevota El Bavecha, Ki Adonai Hu HaElohim B'Shamayim V'Ma'al Ve'aretz mitachat ein od Ve'ne'emar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz vayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. And if you're standing, please be seated. And as I was chanting the Aleinu, I was thinking to myself as we praise God, how wonderful it is that we have people in our community who are learning their Hebrew, who do care about actually chanting the prayers. When you make that connection to the Hebrew, you are connecting to the source of all creation and the power that we can manifest through our prayer to make a difference in our world. So if you want to learn some more Hebrew or meditate on those letters, join us on Thursday evenings at 7:30 p.m. And pretty soon we're through the book, and then we will move on to the chanting of the prayers. If you don't know how to read Hebrew at that point, you can look at the transliteration and join in the cadence of the prayers that help move us from one place in our existence to hopefully a higher plateau. So our Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 598, And in our community, we were very, very saddened to lose Harvey Diamond, Ava's beloved husband, members of our community. But we're also celebrating Harvey's life because he was an extraordinary man, a man who was always delightful and had a smile on his face, really right up to the end. And so we also mourn others that have moved on into the spiritual realm. If you've lost somebody in the last week, please rise in your homes and say their names. Memory is a blessing. Our loved ones' names are for a blessing, as is their spirit. And so it's important to say them aloud or within the being of your own heart if you don't want to say it out loud. If you've lost someone in the last 30 days, the Shloshim period, please say your loved ones' names. If you have lost someone in the last 11 months, please say their names aloud at this time. And if you are observing the yahrzeit, the anniversary of a loved one's death, please say their names at this time. Together we take the memory of all of our loved ones into our hearts, into our beings, and as one community we celebrate them. Our minds and thoughts and souls also want to connect to those around the world who have been lost to COVID. We do have our white candle especially burning for them as well. As we say Kaddish on page 598, if you'd like to rise, please do so. I'll raise my hand when I say Vimaru. If you don't have a prayer book, just say Amen, and you get the merit of having said the text. We sent out an email for people to purchase the Mishkan Tefillah, the Shabbat book, and the weekdays, holy days, the festivals. We also sent a link out for our prayer book for the days of Awe. It's a two-book set, a gold one for Rosh Hashanah and a silver one for Yom Kippur. Please do that. Get those books so that you can have a fulfilling experience. I am proud of some of you. You have told me that you have purchased your books and you were excited to have them for this Shabbat. So let's keep that going. If you do have a problem and you can afford the books, let us know. We'll make sure that you get one. So now at this time, we think of all of our loved ones as together we say the Kaddish on page 598. Yit Kadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divra Chirutei Ve'yamlich Malchutei V'chayei V'yomechon V'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala U'bizman Kari V'imro. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Ul'almei Almaya Yit Barach V'yish Tabach V'yit Fa'ar V'yit Romam V'yit Naseh V'yit Hadar V'yit Alev V'yit Halal Shemei D'Kudashah B'Rechu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Da'amiran Be'alama V'Imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemai Rechayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'Imru. Amen. Ose Shalom B'Imromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'Imru. Amen. May God, who is the creator and author of life and death, grant eternity of shalom, eternal peace to our loved ones in the heavenly realm. Peace to those souls who have moved on at this time so unexpectedly to all of us, but apparently in some kind of divine order of things in the celestial universe, becoming angels to watch over us and guide us and hopefully help us find answers to the pandemic that we're in at this time. So with all of our thoughts and our prayers and our love, together we say, Amen. And so, I know that we have had birthdays. We sent out an email. Rydell, who is the daughter of Ezri and Ty Buddy, and her grandparents, Sharon, and there's both the whole family. We have Harry. We have the whole family, the Mualim family. They are all very excited to have celebrated the first birthday of Rydell. My granddaughter celebrated her first birthday, and we had the birth of Victoria Rose to Linda and Nick Schneier, and also to Grandma Terry and the whole family as well. We were going to have a baby naming today, but because of the COVID pandemic, we weren't able to do that. So we will look forward to those happy moments when we can put leaves upon our tree of life. You can still order the leaves if you want, and to celebrate our loved ones. We will do this again. You are listening. It will be our blessing, and we will look forward to it. Also, we do have our tribes. We have our Aleph Bet up here. If you look at the meditation that we do on Thursdays, each of these letters have a real divine power that we can manifest in our world. For example, the Aleph connects to the Ein Sof, to God, as we call upon God at this time to help us find answers, to guide the work in the hands and the minds of the researchers so that we can all once again be together in person. In the building, but hopefully we will all look toward being together in 2 weeks outside, so please once again let me know. I am been told by Diana that I cannot leave this bima unless I make sure that each and every one of you are aware of the Sisterhood fundraiser, both male and female alike, friends and temple members, anybody that you want to share the world news about. Peter Small, who is a fabulous impersonator, and he will be impersonating Moses, no less, and from our history, I'm sure there'll be some great tidbits, historical footnotes. August 16th at 2 p.m., that is a Sunday, August 16th at 2 p.m., we are asking that you make a minimum donation of $18 per person that is actually viewing in your household, and send this to Sherry Silver. Contact Sherry, or just let us know that you want to come and we can bill you or whatever. We'll let our treasurer know. But don't miss this event. It's going to be a wonderful way to see each other and connect to the history of our ancestors, to Moses. So at this time, we're going to bless one another with the Birkat Kohanim, that blessing, that priestly benediction from our history, from temple times, days past. So if you are able to and you want to, please rise as we bless one another. We ask at this time that history inform our future, that our reflection and our look into the past will help guide us towards a tomorrow that will be filled with promise, and that what we're going through in this year of 2020 that we look forward to with such hope and vision will actually cast light upon a new future filled with redemption. So we bless one another, we put blessing out to God, and all the world is together. Yavarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May God's countenance shine upon you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may God be with you always and grant you peace. And together let us say, Amen. And so now we will have Adon Olam, page 625, 625. Oh, let's do that again. That was so nice. It's a rewrite of the Torah. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, V'terem Kol, Yetzir Nivra, V'ed Nasa, V'cheso Kol, Hazai Melech, Shemo Nikra. Ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado, Yimloch Nora Shalom, everybody. May you have a restful Shabbos and a Shavua Tov, a good week. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much to Dan and Marianne.